Hello, my friends, and hello, Raid. Thank you so much for coming out, Solon. It's good to see you again. Welcome to tonight's episode of the Strength of Thousands AP here on twitch.tv/tabletop rolls. Tonight we are doing the Strength of Thousands. We're beginning, or I guess not beginning, because we're doing some interlude stuff before we start it. But we're beginning book 4 now. It's officially book 4 of 6. There's only 2 more books left in this AP, and then I have to figure out what to do on Monday nights, what AP to do next on Monday nights. But that's. Thank you for the resub. Oh, that's slightly off center. That's going to annoy me until I fix it. There we go.
Oh, it's a Froggo.
It is a Froggo. But announcements. Episode 2. Our long-awaited episode 2 of our Wild West campaign, Wild Ambition.
Yeah.
This Wednesday. During Pride, we're doing the cattle herding arc, which I find humorous.
I don't
They rainbow
understand the
cows?
connection. Anyway.
I don't understand the connection. And I'm
Yeah.
wondering if I should be offended or
It's
not.
not.
It's Brokeback. It's Brokeback.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Clarification key on that one.
Listen.
Not a lot of people think of Brokeback Mountain as the one where they cattle herd.
Hauling gays
Yeah.
cows. Oh,
I know. I was like, are you making a comparison to the Pride parades? Like that's a
bitch,
little
I'm
rude.
a cow.
No, I'm
bitch, I'm
making,
a cow.
I'm making a direct reference
Bitch,
to
I'm a
like,
cow.
I
Bitch,
am
I'm a
not
cow.
a cow.
I'm not a
I
cow.
am a
I
Well,
don't say meow.
Okay.
Hello, everyone who's never been
This
to the
went off
stream
the rails
before.
so
This is not
quickly.
typical.
I thought that was going to be like a good anyway.
Isn't it?
It is. But Wednesday night we continue our second campaign, the League of Amazing Adventurers Wild Ambition. If you want to catch the first episode, that's up on our YouTube channel right now, with Zoe's character as the thumbnail artwork. If you want to go see that lovely artwork done by McKenna, who posted on their Instagram at McKenna Ray Art. So go check them out if you want to see the rest of them. I'm going to be posting them during the week now, for this coming week. I need to get headshots from people to do that, though. Then, on Thursday, we don't do anything. Friday, we have the Astral Calling. We're back. It's space. It is another dimension. There is a very clingy Eevee attached to Luna that is making our Eevee cringe, and it's kind of humorous to me.
Great.
Yeah, I'm sure it is
Darius.
humorous to you, Will.
Darius has spent long hours praying with his wife,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
quite literally.
Take me to church.
Wait, is that what that song's about?
Yes.
Oh, Matthew.
Oh no.
I'll admit, I never thought about it as a metaphor.
Hosier. Of course
Now
it's
you
got
know.
implications.
The more
Hosiers,
you know.
every.
He's a Fey Lord. He's gonna have implications.
Then Saturday, Salt and Sorcery.
Oh.
We're going to continue our Solasta gameplay with Will, Calf, Chad, and Matt. Matt will probably be in the lead for our virtual sort of fantasy video game critic league that we're doing. It's like fantasy football, but more fun.
I just picked well-known big titles. I can't claim any.
I know, but you're about to eat really well because you have Street Fighter 6, which is bomb apparently, and Diablo 4.
Oh, Deckard Cain, we miss you.
Then on Sunday this week, unless I'm incorrect, and Sarah, feel free to tell me if I'm incorrect, we're back with Stardew Sunday.
Sunday is free. Stardew Sunday it is.
Stardew Sundays with friends, Will, Sarah, Emily, Aubrey playing Stardew Valley together. Come watch myself madly run around trying to speedrun Stardew Valley with my 4 friends. And come watch Sarah romance Shane.
Speed run. I will get married before the end of the year. That's my speed run.
Speed dating.
Speed dating.
And don't forget to come join us and say hi to our favorite chicken, McKenna.
Chicken.
Oh, that's a cute chicken.
Oh.
Eventually.
It's got kind of like duck feet.
One more heart and we'll get blue chickens.
Nice. I need to get the void egg going so that I can get a choco.
That is true. We need a Chocos.
I'm going to make a Choco and put a Choco in the
But
clip.
Oh, you heard it here, folks. First, folks. Will is ready to trust again.
Oh no, I'm fine with doing
Wow.
it in Stardew. I'm still going to play the character stuff in Igora. I'm enjoying this character art with Igora. It's fun.
Of being angry at your own pet.
Yes.
Okay.
Speaking of being angry with your own pets, on Monday nights, it's the Strength of Thousands AP. It's what you're watching right now. And Matt, why don't you tell our lovely viewers who we are? Like, who the other folks in the stream are. Go ahead, friendo.
Well, I will selfishly begin with myself. Hello, everyone. I am Matthew, or Urbanoff in various places on the internets. I am here to lead this interesting group of adventurers / lore speakers through the Strength of Thousands AP for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Let me take a look. Who do I want to pass the introduction to first? Beauty before wisdom. McKenna. Who's you and who's your character? You're not playing a cleric,
Hi,
so you don't
guys.
have good wisdom.
I also just don't have good wisdom in real life, so it's an apt comparison. Hi y'all, I am McKenna Ray Tynan of McKenna Ray Art on all the places, and I am playing Avi Avi, the Nyctera witch, and her familiar Agate.
And speaking of people with adorable familiars, Zoe, who are you playing?
Hi, I'm Zoe, and I play Ophelia. She's our Whisper Elf Bard, and she does have a cute little familiar. It's a Leshy Rose. So tiny, so cute.
And for anyone in the chat confused as to how a bard has a familiar, we are playing the Strength of Thousands Adventure Path, which gives the characters extra dedication feats, often in Wizard or Druid. And so I believe Ophelia has taken some in Druid, allowing her to have a Leshy familiar.
Yes.
ta-da.
And speaking of interesting character combinations in terms of their classes, we have Sarah, who has taken an alchemist, but also has some levels in wizard, I believe.
Correct. I'm a scholar as well as a bomb poisoner. Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah Margaret, and I'm playing Charlotte, the Anati toxicologist, who is returning to Magambia for the first time in, a very long time, I imagine. But yeah,
6 years, I think it was.
6 years.
Oh.
Yep, 6 years in stasis. Who knows? Anyway,
On the opposite end, someone who is fresh off the cult boat into the school and academic life, we have Igora.
Yes. Now, here, let me tell you about this new thing Igor is starting up. It is called Frog Coin.
Oh, no.
there is. The joke is hilarious. However, Will, I thought you were going to say there is in Los Angeles a soft serve place called Frog.
Frog.
Yes.
I love frog.
Ice cream. So I
I
was
miss
like, he's gonna
Frog.
say frog, which is just soft serve
Frog.
ice cream.
I enjoy Frog.
And who is your character, though, Will?
Yeah, tonight I'm playing Igora, the Gribbly Summoner, their companion and friend, their Eidolon, Gamma, who will have some new abilities now we're level 12, and the Choco the Trader.
I mean, that's a pretty cool name, honestly.
That's pretty
The
sick.
Trader is less cool than the Betrayer, so I'm going with the Trader now. So
I mean,
that's
let's be honest.
notable.
Everyone knows who Judas was. People will struggle to name all the other apostles.
Judas.
Plus, he's got the best
For a
songs.
second, I thought you were
And
gonna be like, "Who is that Jesus guy?"
I think you mean Jesus.
Jesus, I see.
But also, now let me tell you about my thing. It's called a ziggurat scheme.
Oh, God.
Matt, I'm giving you a hero point on Wednesday for that. That was good.
Thank you. But speaking of ziggurats, and you'll find out why don't you go ahead and roll that intro, Will?
Push the button, Will!
Yes, as the intro mentioned, we are now into Book 4, Secrets of the Temple City. But before we get into that, we have a little bit of, in a way, character housekeeping to take care of. Because not even touching on Sarah's character, Charlotte, being away for 6 years, no one knowing what happened to her, you guys have been away for at least a couple months now from the school, and there has been some mail come in for some of you.
Nobody opened the mail.
Well, here's the thing, though. I'm going to roll a d4, and we're going to determine who we're going to deal with first.
Delightful.
Okay.
Prolonged eye contact.
So, McKenna,
Oh.
you don't find any special mail. Give me a quick perception check if you are being super careful about your mail or anything.
Yes, of course. One for me and one for Agate. Also assume I have detect magic, detect secrets up. Oof.
You detect no magic in any of the things. None of them seem just mundanely suspicious. They all have like recognizable return addresses from people you know. There's one letter that seems to have been the envelope seems to have been made out of leaves, pressed very tightly, and it's from your family, your coven back, and it was just them checking in with you. I'm assuming you would have let them know in some fashion that you would have been out of contact for a while on this trip, so they weren't worried about you.
Probably not, as long as I probably would have been like, yeah, we're going on a little bit of a trip. I don't think I knew going into it that it was going to last as long as it did.
It's also possible you have probably several relatives who are capable of scrying on you.
Almost certainly.
Grandma Big Ears is a well-known divination specialist.
One of those things where, like, it's not something that you would normally do, but if you are sincerely worried about someone's whereabouts, it's not considered rude. But yes, so I can they can scry on me, but I wanna open my little letter and see what my family has written to me.
Second, throwing some shade. It is not a particularly exciting letter. It's just keeping you abreast of goings on back at home. A few people you know, kind of like distant kind of family people, not super quickly connected. I had like babies and the like. A few new people added to the village. A few people have been granted a rank in terms of the coven's kind of loose hierarchy. They've, achieved a certain level of mastery and have like become full adults and full members of the coven. A few people got colds or something, and someone ate a poison berry and had to be nursed for like a week or something. Pretty much just kind of like comforting, mundane, everyday stuff. Nothing suspicious, no weird groups popping up. Just nice.
Everything's just
Why do you
suspiciously
say it
chill.
like that?
Well, because I should have mentioned, I didn't do my usual recap. Just as a reminder, upon returning from their extended trip, the group discovered that a new group had sort of moved into Nantambu, the city that surrounds the Magambia, who on the surface seem benign. They seem to be called the Order of the Enlightened Tree. They just seem to be a non-religious specifically group. They don't seem to like worship anything or be pushing belief in something other than like a philosophy of by working together people can take control of their lives and everything, and that your story is yours to write. They seem nice and helpful and benevolent, but you guys haven't exactly investigated them at all, and no sinister people are going to be saying, hey, yes, welcome, new person who doesn't know anything about us. Sign on this contract dripping in human blood.
Cult. Certainly not a cult. Of course not. Why would you assume it's a cult?
No, might be worth looking into.
Yeah, beyond that, the mail is kind of mundane, and the rest of your mail is mundane. It's like correspondence that were sent. Like a few people in the faculty at the school had like questions for you, kind of cross teacher kind of communication.
Mm.
All very these can wait sort of things. The only thing other of note for you before we move on is a couple times you've caught Agate outside. What appears to be she tried to be like writing a new rune just in like the dirt.
Ooh.
And you only ever catch a glimpse of it because as soon as she notices you approach, she kind of scratches out of the dirt and kind of swishes her tail annoyingly. Like it's like it's not ready or something.
Oh, I just give her head pats and say, "It's okay. They'll show me when you're ready."
She rolls over and wants a belly rub.
He gets a belly rub.
All right, I'm now going to roll
Oh no!
a
She's got you!
I'm gonna roll a d3. Okay, Will. About I'm skipping a little bit ahead with your personal timeline. Everyone else is still going to be dealing with the immediate stuff they find when they get back. But you, about a week later, you're getting a little bit back into the swing of things with your classes. And in the midst of one of your classes, give me a perception check real quick.
Okay. Yeah, and that, students, is why it's important to, be as physically strong as you are mentally strong. Because if you can't take a hit as a mage, well, then you can't take a hit. As a
All right.
mage.
Good. That's a good perception check. You do notice a couple things. One, a couple students who I haven't even come up with a name yet are really into what you're saying, and they like kind of flex. They're wearing like sleeveless shirts and stuff, and they just sort of like do some like almost like weird JoJo poses in the front row of your class. But more interestingly, for a moment, as you kind of like turn back from the blackboard or whatever the equivalent of Magambi is, the magic chalkboard or something, through the glass, the fogged glass window of the classroom door, there is just like a figure standing there. You can't see any details because it's through fogged glass, but it's just sort of standing there. You don't know what's going on with that, but they're gone in a moment. They don't like quickly run or anything because they realize you spotted them. I don't know what you think of that as you will. But later, after class is done, you return to the kind of office you have in the school building. Not your dormitory, but your actual office where you sit and grade papers and stuff. And there is a knock, knock, knock on your door. Now I should ask Igoro, when you started as a lore speaker,
Yeah.
would you have insisted on a private office for you to work in, or would you have been acceptable in one of those like staff rooms where the teachers almost have their own little like computer stations?
Well,
but,
I
this
would
is
have.
not
I would
computers.
have actually asked to be in that building that I restored or helped with restoring.
The
old
library?
Yeah, the old
Mhm.
tree
The
stump
tree stump?
library. I was kind of wanting to take and restore as like a
Okay.
project.
Because it would have been a kind of a new building, and people weren't necessarily looking for new rooms at the time. I'm going to say you got a private office then.
Sweet.
You had first pick of it, so you are alone in this office unless you grade papers with Ikura or with Gama and Choco around.
Oh no, Choco has been relegated to the Leshy Garden.
Okay.
You mean the bar?
Yeah.
which is still being regrown after an unfortunate fire.
Oh.
Someone tried to do too many of those flaming shots.
Yeah.
Also, they mixed magic with it, so the fire was like alive.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a knock at the office as you sit in your office alone.
Come in.
There's a pause, and then the door handle turns very deliberately, and door opens. And standing in the doorway, not backlit in any dramatic sense or anything, is a kind of a hooded figure. It's kind of a dark gray cloak, and underneath the kind of the hood, you see a mask. It appears to be like an owl mask. If you've ever seen like the Court of Owls from Batman, it's a very simple, stylized kind of owl mask where it's just kind of a blank face with kind of slanted, weird owl eyes, and then kind of the triangle in the middle to symbolize the beak. And it's a voice speaks up. I'm terribly sorry to disturb you, Professor Igara. Might I come in?
Igara.
This is one of the students, probably, based on like the way they look, okay?
Give me a perception check.
Yeah. Let's see if I can get.
Or if you want, you could give me a society check.
I'll do the perception because I have a -1 in society, Matthew.
Okay. 21. Even with a 21, you all could immediately clock that this is not one of the kind of masks that they make of the Magambia. This is a very kind of crude mask almost. It's not like made of a paper plate or anything, but the masks at the Magambia are often works of art in a way. Very naturalistic and everything, but still a lot of craftsmanship goes into them.
Tell me your business first, and then we'll figure out whether you want to come in. If you want to kill me, I don't want to let you in. You might be a vampire.
One other bit of information that you catch on quite quickly. There's a smell. It's not an unpleasant smell, and for a second you think, oh, it's just Shizere. You're like, oh wait, no, it's the wrong height.
Yeah. It depends on what your business is. Why don't you tell me that before I invite you in?
How shall I put this? We have, I suppose, what you could say, an antagonist in common.
The fox or the headless one?
I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know nothing about a fox, but I do. I am speaking of someone whose head is of a dubious status.
Come on in.
They enter, and they close the door behind them, and they move to like lock it, but then they just kind of look at you.
Oh, you're fine. No one comes here.
Lock the door.
The only students that come here for like workout advice half the time. I'm not magically gifted. I just tell people how not to die when they get hit.
They sit down, and from under their cloak, now that they sit down, their cloak kind of separates, opens a little bit. You do notice they appear to be wearing kind of cobbled together armor under the cloak. It's not heavy armor, it's not plate, but it does seem to be more armor than you'd expect than someone at the Magambia usually. They're wearing like slightly segmented armored gloves, but not not plate. But it just means that they're wearing gloves, so you can't see their hands. Doesn't seem like any of their actual like features or skin or anything is revealed. They do, though, produce from under their cloak a dark green bottle with a faded and yellowed little label on it. They pop it open, produce two not particularly clean glasses from under their cloak, put them on the table, pour themselves one, and then kind of...
I don't drink.
Fills their glass more.
Sorry.
Recorks the bottle, puts it back into the thing. They tilt their mask up a little bit, and then you just hear a... They put the glass back down, and this is some strong stuff. You can smell it from even from how far you're sitting away. Terribly sorry. It's been a long road, and it takes the edge off.
No worries. Wondering one thing, if you don't mind me asking. Hypothetically, how do you know about any sort of connection that I might have to our mutual antagonist?
Well, you see, I'm a bit of what you might call a social butterfly. I frequent places where people like to talk. I like to get stories everywhere I go. And happened to be a couple of students, I think, who were with you on a trip recently. Were talking about you yelling a particular woman's name at night. And that particular name, I happen to know.
Yeah?
Yes, I believe you are perhaps familiar with the proprietor of the Black Hat Magic Shop.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with her. Okay, so what's the deal here? You got like a secret dagger that'll do her in, some sort of alchemical device. You seem like an alchemy person to me.
They take another drink. Oh, I'm afraid I've got no book learning in any sort of sciences.
Okay.
Any sort of concoctions I have are straight from a bartender. But I just want to clarify, just so we're all cards are on the table here. You are not a friend of our dear Mercedes.
I am not a friend of hers, that is true.
Their posture visibly kind of relaxes, like, oh, that's a wonderful thing to hear. And they reach out in the cloak and they put funny looking little like medallion down on the table. It's got like some weird like snakes intertwined in it or everything with a little blue gem in the middle. It's like, you may not know what this is, but it would have given off a bit of a ring-a-ding-ding if you had lied just there. So I'm pleased to find a person who is not enthralled and dishonest.
She is sketchy. People don't think she is sketchy. Honestly, all of my friends have some weird thirst for her that's been, like, you know, it's understandable. Objectively, she's attractive. But, like, you know, control yourselves.
Little, not enough fur for my taste, honestly. Um, but yes, she is a complicated individual.
Yeah.
Ignoring that. All cards on the table, just so I can stop dancing around this now that I have verified your authenticity. I do seek to slay the lady.
Okay, question then. Why?
Yes. It is a complicated story. I can explain in a sort of fashion by revealing that 'twas I and some companions of mine that were the ones who separated her head from her shoulders.
Unfortunately, it didn't stick.
See, that's the problem. It was only step one.
Okay.
The sword was the sword itself, which crumbled to dust immediately upon the deed, was meant to be the first part of a sort of purification ritual.
Okay.
Mercedes is, and you may have already guessed this, but she is a sort of devil, a lawful evil individual who is bound to work only in contracts and deals.
Yes.
Without those contracts and deals, she in fact wields very little power. She is obsessed with the contracts. She cannot act without them, and she has very little power outside of them. But within the deals, she has a great amount of power, and she has used that to protect herself in certain ways.
Fair enough.
But the purpose of severing her head was once her head is severed, it is supposed to be separated from her body for a set amount of time, and then undergo a sort of purification ritual. Once the head is purified, the body will follow, and whatever comes next for her comes next.
Hmm.
So,
I
I
might be able to help
I
with
know
that.
I'm perhaps I may be putting you in a bit of a awkward position here as a teacher and as a citizen of Nantambu. You're probably not supposed to take these kind of actions, and I usually wouldn't have come to you with this. I feel myself and some associates of mine bear the responsibility for this, having failed the first time around. But one of my associates, who is a bit of a divination expert, has revealed to me that Mercedes knows I am on her tail, so to speak. She has apparently set a ferocious hound against me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
A
my
terrible beast, I hear, that wields
that's
flame.
That's my party's
and
fault.
trickery.
That's my party's fault.
She...
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a whole story in itself. But
They're actively on this campus. You are probably
In danger.
yeah, in a little bit of danger being here.
you hear
right
outside
now,
the window. some sniffing.
Oh my god,
It's fine.
stop.
If worst comes to
I'm
worst,
joking.
I'll dominate them. It's okay, and you'll get out of here.
Well, I don't mean to pry into your party dynamics. I mean, no judgments. I'm
Domination in this Pride Month?
More likely than you think.
Anyway.
I mean, I've been around the around Galeria once or twice. I'm no one to judge.
No, but in all seriousness, all right. So I just have to separate her head from her body for what?
Well,
a week, a month?
I'm not asking you to take care of this yourself. I just sort of wanted you to bring you into the know. We will, myself and my associates will be contacting you again before long. But I just wanted to try and find someone within the school who may be amenable to our goals. This has to be done a certain way, or it could be her head will be restored to her body and we'll be back to square one.
Fair enough.
So, can I count on your support? Though very obviously does not offer you their hand, like to shake.
Should our end goals align, you can count on them. You can count on it.
That's good enough for me. We may call on you for some academic assistance as well. We may need very esoteric means to circumvent some of her defenses, perhaps.
Yeah, let me...
She's got tricks we've never even considered.
Let me know what you need. Fair warning, I'm not the smartest, but I can probably get some other people to help me out without it being too sketchy. So, thankfully, Avi is very trusting.
I will pretend I know who that is. They kind of tilt her mask forward again, take another drink, finish it, pop the glass down on the table. Well, good day's work, I suppose.
Yes. Now, you seriously may want to get out of here, because the thing hunting you actively lives in this area and does come by to visit from time to time, so...
I do have some tricks of my own, and they just kind of tap the glass, and for a second, you see a weird glimmer of what appears to be another place with winding walls and twisting passages, and the glass disappears.
Can you do me like one small favor, though, in that case? Can you not kill them?
Oh, no,
Okay, cool.
There are very few who are sort of in the orbit of this proprietress who are truly bad people. In fact, most of the truly bad people who interact with her don't really live that long.
Yeah,
because granting their desires are usually self-destructive, and she revels in facilitating people in their own downfall.
I could see that, but yeah, seriously, if that dog does get to you, don't kill them, please. They're a good person.
No.
Yeah.
You have my word. I will not bring any harm to the mutt.
I appreciate it.
Oh, should I say that? I'm sorry. That sounds rude.
I don't know. They like being called a good boy, so just like say not bring any harm to the good boy.
At the mention of the good boy, he's like, I may have misjudged the beast arrayed against me.
You really have. They're a powerful magus who wants to do stage magic instead of real magic.
Well, that's something to consider.
So just keep that in mind.
Reminded of the giant forest fire from
Incredibly powerful arcane caster. Don't get me wrong, incredibly powerful arcane caster. Very kind soul.
They reach into their cloak again, and they pull out a small stone. It seems to have a crude kind of snowflake engraved on it. And they hand you this. As an academic, I'm sure you're aware of the capabilities of sending stones.
Yep.
This will allow you some limited communication with me. I will be in Nantambu for the foreseeable future. So... stay close to your stone.
Yeah, and you stay away from Bazenges.
Before I leave, I do want to give you one more thing. And they kind of glance around one more time just to make sure there's nothing looking around. And then they lean in close. And this close, I'm not even get you to roll. You can smell quite a bit of booze on them. They say, not even taking into account their coachman, the woman is never alone. Kind of leans back and turns to leave and like, give me one more perception check.
Yeah, that's fair.
34. Okay.
Ooh.
Having now kind of being close to them, two things kind of stand out to you. Even under the cloak and the hood, the very top of their hood, you think you maybe see two little bumps that might indicate larger ears. And something is swishing under the cloak.
Okay.
Tulip?
Hmm?
Is it Tulip?
No.
Tulip? Who's Tulip?
Tulip was briefly introduced once months ago.
Ah.
This does not sound
Oh,
like Tulip at all.
Aerith's Tulip.
Yeah.
I will leave this person to be on their way. Igora makes a mental note that this is an option afforded to them, but he needs to talk to the rest of the party about the plan that he actually had to deal with Mercedes before
Okay.
going through with this one.
Well, we can maybe even do that today if we need
we
to.
can do
But
it this one, but we'll do that after everyone's done stuff.
moving along, we move to a
God.
D2 now. Last two members. All right. Ophelia.
Oh, lucky too.
You will also have some mail waiting for you. A few of them are, you have actually a bit more mail than Avi Avi had. A good number of them appear to be fan mail. Do you wish to open any of this fan mail just right away?
Is there any fan mail from that dwarven girl?
There's a couple, actually.
From her specifically?
Yes.
Honestly, I'm not like a detect magic girly.
I mean,
So
if you
I
want to
might-
go take them to Ophelia, or to Avi Avi, you can.
I probably will. Well, I'm not gonna touch them like with my bare hands because we're a little wary of mail since the last time the magic mail wiped everybody's memories.
Not everybody.
If you
Well,
want to call me over, I can mage hand it.
Well, I should
to you.
ask, the two of you, would you guys have asked for private offices when you became Lord Speakers, or would you have been okay with kind of a staff room spot?
I was under the impression that the majority of us were in the little tree house since there were
Okay.
so many rooms.
I'm just also
Yeah.
refreshing my memory here.
I thought
Yeah.
that
That's
we
why-
were
that's
taking
why-
it over.
Yeah, that's why I started refreshing it so that we could have like
It
our
has
own
been
little
literal
base.
months. I
Yeah,
apologize.
That's why I started
you're-
rebuilding
yeah.
it so we could have our own little base of operations.
Yeah. So yeah, she would
Oh,
be
so
like,
you're all in
her
one
office.
place then?
Yes.
Perfect range
Uh,
of fireball.
Let me get my tank of gas. then.
We're in different rooms.
But one tree.
Very
White
flammable tree.
Maybe even the Tree of Enlightenment. Who knows? Bringing it full circle.
Check those branches. Are there any
I
candles sitting
like-
on them?
Oh
The
God,
the
I'm
secret
so
was me
scared.
starting a cult this entire time.
Jesus.
You have an alter ego you're not aware of.
Igor,
If anybody's
Mm.
gonna start a cult around here, it's gonna be me. All right, calm
A cult
down.
of personality.
Ah,
I did offer to help
like-
you with that.
I like that. Yeah, but no, so I would definitely go to Avi and be like, hey, can you do your thing? Detect
Do your
magic.
thing, girl.
Do your thing, honey.
Do a little read aura, detect magic, detect secrets, perception for me, perception for Agate. Anything crazy. 38 from Agate.
There is some slight illusion magic on one of the fan mail letters.
Okay.
Not the letter itself appears to be something inside the letter. But it is very faint, it's not very strong at all, and it's just illusion.
There is something in this one. I don't think it's anything crazy. A little bit of illusion magic.
Okay. What is it? I want to open it.
You open it, and once you unfurl the letter itself, a illusory, like a crude kind of illusion of someone like singing a ballad to you comes out.
I'm so glad I'm here for this.
I am no musician myself, but it's just like, Ophelia, you're so fine, you blow my mind, Ophelia, Ophelia. But I should mention the illusion magic itself is very crude. It's like a weird kind of cartoon little dancing illusion. It's like a weird pixel art kind of thing almost, but without the real artistry that goes into a lot of pixel art stuff.
That's
I'm picturing it's a little uncanny valley.
At the end, for a split second, it almost seems to melt a little bit.
That one scene from the D&D movie where he starts
Yeah.
to lose
Oh
concentration.
god. Oh god, yes. Who is that one from?
That is from someone you've never heard of. It's just another student around the campus.
Okay, that is so crazy that I've been gone
for
for
teacher,
months
good
and
lord.
I'm getting fan mail.
Absence has made their hearts go stronger.
Oh god. What fan
They're
mail?
passing around like magical recordings of one of your concerts or something.
Oh no. Yeah, wait, what mail did I get from the dwarven girl?
There were 2 letters. The first one, the older of the 2, is just a fan mail. Kind of those weird fan mails where it's like telling you about her day, but also mentioning of the ways you inspire her in her daily life and everything. It's very sweet, but also like maybe verging a little bit too much on the familiar. Like, I know you, I've met you. We're not friends, so I'm a teacher now. This is a little weird that you're speaking to me in such a casual manner, Maybe a bit of a parasocial relationship is forming here.
Oh god.
Not it doesn't seem creepy anywhere. She isn't like collecting like your hair clippings or anything, or making a doll that looks like you to sit in
That
a
I
chair in
know
her
of.
room. Yeah. The second letter, though, she has sent you a song that she has written that she wanted to maybe get your opinion on.
Okay. And how good is it?
It is earnest. You can just tell from the sort of the lyrics and where the emphasis on certain things is that it is. She's poured a lot of emotion into this. It's a little rough around the edges, though. Some of the rhymes are a bit of a stretch. She does have orange and purple in there a couple times.
Well, when you got orange and purple in there, you really gotta stretch those rhymes.
At the very bottom of the mail stack, though, you took all this mail with you when you went to see Avi. There is a letter that's very different from all the others. It is immaculate. It is wonderfully written. It's like calligraphied, addressed, and you instantly recognize this from your mother.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I would definitely open that.
Okay. It starts off very much like most letters you receive from your mother. She asks how things are going, how the trip went, how your teacher things are going. Have you been evaluated anytime soon? Were the evaluations good? Then she gets into some like local news from where you're from town, like a few people you know from your hometown, what they've been up to and everything, who's gotten married, who's gotten divorced, who's having a baby, who turned their sister into a sentient cloud for like 30 minutes. Then there's a bit near the bottom. The writing is a little different, not in like a different person or anything, but you get the sense that maybe her mood was a little different when she was writing this, that the hand is maybe a little less steady. She is telling you about an odd discovery that was made near your hometown. Someone was clearing a bit of the surrounding forest to build a new cottage. And a big old tree that was old and was probably hollow, they thought, was chopped down. And they were right, it was hollow, but they discovered that there appears to have been someone at some point living in the tree. Something small, but obviously something sentient, because there were like bits and bobs and there were like things hung up like decorations. It wasn't like a crow picking up like shiny things around. Someone had decorated the inside of this tree to be like a house, like obviously a tiny sized creature to fit in here. But the big thing is that a little journal was discovered, a crude little journal, appears to have been at some point someone's little notebook that they lost or was stolen or something that this person turned into a full-size journal for someone their size.
Mhm.
And the writing is terrible, and the weather had ruined several of the pages, but it's clear from the reading of the entries in a journal that whoever was writing in it, they were, along with two other people that they don't really name, but they make mention to these two other people that they know, were living near the town and were often hiding from the people living in the town. And your mom asks if the name means anything to you. And you stare at the page for a second, and you kind of blink. And you're like, did I skip over the name? And you start the sentence again, and you can't read it again. Every time you come to the name on the page, your eyes just kind of blink, and you immediately start moving on to the next word. It's like your eyes don't want to look at the name on the page.
Can I make like an Arcana check or something?
You can certainly make an Arcana check. 31. There is nothing magical about this letter. Or you can glean you've never heard of any like magic words that cannot be read. Plus, you have no idea why your mom would use such a thing. You know, your mother knows magic, but it wouldn't make any sense for her to write this letter and ask you a question and somehow conceal a particular detail. You feel a headache start to build in the back of your head. And your heart starts to beat a little faster and a little irregular. Avi, give me a perception check, because I assume you're still in the room.
Yes.
Sort
Ooh,
of.
nat
Oh,
20.
yikes.
Ophelia's eyes have dilated, and for the first time since you've known her, and you've seen Ophelia out in the jungle, she was always immaculate. She always looked ready to go for whether it be an adventure or a night on the town. You never saw her sweat. She is sweating now.
Oh. Can I jump up on her shoulder and look at what she's holding?
Oh, sure. A tiny creature jumps onto your shoulder, Ophelia.
Oh, and then I just like compose myself. I smile at her and I put the letter away for another time. Just my mom talking tea, being a little too nosy.
Do I see anything
Talking
before
about-
she folds it?
I mean, you see a big letter with lots of words. You wouldn't have known to look for anything unusual. Like, you might have been able to see the name, but you wouldn't have known what to look for.
No, of course not.
Though I would, Ophelia, I would say give me a deception check.
Sure. I'm really good at those.
You tempted fate, you did.
And by really good I have a +6.
I mean, acting +6 isn't bad.
You're really good at lying to not your friends.
Yeah, Avi,
that's
there's a slight
critical failure.
Yeah, there's a slight tremor in Ophelia's voice when she says that.
Ophelia, you feel Avi just kind of like plunk her little head on your cheek and give you the teeniest, tiniest of hugs. And she just says, I can tell something is wrong. Really, really wrong. Because I've never seen you look like that before. But I also know that it is not my business to pry, and that if you do not want to talk about it, that I don't want to force your hand. So if you want someone to talk about it with, I am here. If you don't want someone to talk about it with, I'm also here. She gives you
I appreciate you. Thank you, Avi. If it ever comes down to it, know that yes, I would love to talk about it. But it's a hard topic to bring up. And I think I'm going to have to consult somebody about it because I
Oh.
don't really know what's going on with me. And I'm a little
Oh.
scared.
Oh, Ophelia. How long has this been happening?
Since before the trip.
Oh. Well, if it is any consolation, and I don't know that it is, it didn't show. But I'm really sorry that you've been struggling with something and that none of us noticed it.
I mean, that's part of who I am as a performer. You just fake it till you make it, you know?
I suppose, but you don't have to perform with us, you know.
I know. And it helps. You guys make me laugh. So a lot of
I
it's
don't
real.
know if that's an insult or not, but that's okay. Have
Well,
you thought? I know he's not your favorite person, but have you thought about going to Endures in Darkness? He's really good with the medicinal stuff.
I mean, maybe. But
I was actually thinking of talking to him later anyway, so if you wanted me to go with you, he was already on my plans for today.
oh, that's okay. I might go to him another time, but I think I might head into town.
Okay. All right. Just let me know if there's anything you need or want.
I will. What you're doing is so helpful. Thank you.
I reach up and give her a little head pat. It's like a little jump and hat.
It's just so funny. I'm sorry. It's so cute. It's just
The visual is just so absurd.
You high five Leshy while you're up there. Like,
Oh yes.
oh yeah.
Who's already snuggling on her head.
Aw, cute little thing.
Do you head back to your specific office, Ophelia?
Well, I don't know if this is something that I would do like now because like how bad is this headache?
Now that you put the letter away, it's receding.
Okay. I just think sometime in the near future, I do want to go into town to the Black Hat.
Oh,
Um,
fun.
but once you leave the room and close the door behind you,
But I don't
Um,
tell anybody that.
Oh.
your hands sort of move and grip the letter a little tightly. Give me a will save to resist tearing it in half.
I have if this is a if this is a success, it will be a critical success.
Oh, yes. It is a critical success. You will your hands to relax,
Okay.
and your headache even clears more.
I put that thing away in the deepest pits of my bag.
I mean, someone has a bag of holding. Unless someone knows what to ask it for, you can't get it out of there unless you turn the whole thing out.
No, my own personal bag.
Gonna sail right by that. So finally, process of elimination, we come to Charlotte. Now, Charlotte's return to the school is going to be a little different because a few people are very surprised and very happy and relieved to see you return. Um, Pretty quickly, you are called into the office of Teacher Ott, who kind of awkwardly, because you guys were never that close, but he gives you kind of an embrace, and he's so happy that you are back, and more importantly, that you are safe. They were the whole school was very worried about you, and whatever happened to you, something about it kind of blocked their attempts to scry and divine what had happened to you. It's like you were somewhere else entirely, like, and you kind of figure that the stasis thing probably almost sort of put you out of sync with this plane. That's why you didn't age or anything. But he kind of ushers you into the office and he makes you some lovely tea. Whether or not you remember whether you liked Teacher Ott's tea is up to you.
I think Charlotte takes like the 2 cursory sips and then just sets it down again.
He once he pours the tea, he puts the tea set down and kind of ambles over to a corner of his office and kind of shuffles some boxes around and brings out a small wooden one. And you see there's been like a little like paper label affixed to it, and it has your name on it. He's like, most of your research materials and your effects from your personal quarters are in another place, properly stored. Made sure nothing happened to them. Though some of the more active chemicals we did have to stabilize and neutralize, because left unattended, they might have exploded.
Understand. Yes.
But this is 6 years worth of correspondence for you that at first we were simply putting aside for you because we had hoped, we assumed you would be back soon. But after the first year, it was decided that we should start examining some of the correspondence. And I should tell you, he looks possibly the first time you've ever seen it, because you interacted with him a fair bit when you were at the school, and he was always a very calm, collected, very wise kind of figure within the school. Here he looks a little uncomfortable and a little apprehensive. You were gone for several years, and people asked about your whereabouts, people who were close to you, family members, and sadly we had no answers. We at the time didn't even really have any theories, and we wished we had more to tell them, but
Yes, I understand. Yes.
He kind of hands you the box, like, of course you can take the time to read all of them there, but I feel I should let you know that after we started opening the letters, we discovered that fairly regular correspondence from your home village was coming in. Questions, some of your relatives, particularly your grandmother, a mushroom enchanted family web Mervain.
Yeah.
She
So-
seemed she was having one of her younger relatives help with the writing of the letters because her grip had become a bit unstable in a few years. She's, as I'm sure you know, getting a little old. I'll just say, just flat out, she was growing quite distressed as the years went on. Apparently, you two were quite close and you meant a lot to her, and the fact that we had no answers to give as to your whereabouts seemed to be quite upsetting to her. And about 6 months ago, we received a letter from one of your young relatives explaining that she had fallen ill. The stress apparently had taken quite a toll on her. She is apparently, last we heard, confined to a bed, and there was talk amongst your relatives of taking her from the village in an effort to find some unconventional medicine to help her. They explained that there would be still people left in your village who would be there to receive any letters if you ever reappeared and returned. They believed, they were hopeful. I don't want to but make you feel that they were despairing. They believed they had some leads on some medicine they thought could help her, but she's not a young woman, and the stress and the worry apparently had taken quite a toll. She herself was no longer dictating the letters near the end. I'm sorry to dump this all on you as soon as you return to the school.
No, I suspected that might be the case. Is there is there a way I could I mean, a letter might not get to them quick enough. I
If
just
we do have magical means of long distance communication here at the school. Some of the more efficient ways will be limited because none of the people at the school who are capable of such magics are familiar with your family members, which is an important aspect of the magic.
I would just need a catalyst. I can communicate.
Of course, the Magambi will be more than happy to provide anything you need. In addition, I wanted to make sure that this is clear, that your position here at the school is still yours. You were never dismissed. Your name was never stricken from the records. We have had people disappear for many years and return eventually, so we make it a matter of policy, unless we have confirmation. No one ever is truly gone from the Gombi until we know for certain. So when you are ready, if you wish to, you can resume teaching your class. Your position here is secured, and of course, we'll find a room for you anywhere on the campus you like. If you wish to take a room in the new facility that your new compatriots seem to have made for themselves, that is more than possible.
I think I would like that. Yes, it would be. They're familiar now.
I'm pleased to hear that.
Before then, I would like to, if you could show me, the school layout is the same, but I don't know if you still have the same ritual room for communication.
More or less. It was phased out of existence for about a week 2 years ago, but then it came back with an extra staff member. So, magic.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Yes, I would like to at least try to maybe get in contact with my father. He might know what's happening with grandmother Mervane.
We are more than happy to assist you in any way we can. I am again sorry to sort of dump all this you all at once, but I thought you would probably want to know. I didn't want to run the risk of you not reading the letters right away and then a week later only finding out and realize you've been sitting on it for a week. I imagine that would be.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you for everything. As unorthodox as the situation is, I'm glad to be home.
As are we. We're glad to have you back, Charlotte. I think you will find this latest crop of lore speakers kindred spirits.
Your 3 new teachers, or 3 new lore speakers, are quite interesting.
Yes.
Do be sure.
And their old dorm mates are pretty close to themselves. Soon we may have a surplus of excellent, or at least interesting teachers. The lore speaker crop is good this coming years.
And here we thought I was the most interesting and off-the-wall one.
I mean, you did leave for 6 years. There were bound to be a few interesting ones crop up in the meantime. He tries to make a weak attempt at humor there.
True, but have any of them blown up the classroom yet? I do want to reiterate, I apologize.
He kind of steeples his finger for a second. Define blow up.
Points to Avi.
But yeah, he makes arrangements for you to get a room and get anything you need to get settled back in, take care of your personal issues. Is there anything you want to do? I'm not going to go into a phase where I'm going to allow you all to maybe do like one sort of errand or task before we dive into the setup for the next book. And we're just going to start in the reverse order. So we're going to go to Charlotte. Is there anything you wanted to do? You don't have to do anything. But
Yeah, I think after taking on the finding a housing place with the offices and stuff in the tree, um, probably as close to like the base as possible, because
I don't. It's not actually a multi-story tree. I don't think it's a tree, a giant tree stump of sorts. So
It was a library, a
I
decrepit
mean,
library before.
Avi sometimes probably hangs from the ceiling, but that's her thing.
any place that's cold and damp so that my poisons and stuff can be properly isolated.
I mean, cold and damp. Do you want a room with endures in darkness?
We can give you. We can. Give
I don't
you-
mind.
Well, there's also, remember there was that old building that we were in where we got attacked by the statues on the inside and there were snakes inside?
That was a storeroom.
That was a storeroom.
Oh.
My initial thoughts for how we were going to break up this sort of like area between ourselves, okay, was like each of us basically getting one of these smaller rooms as an office.
Let me load the old map if I can find it.
Yeah, it's the Tree Stump Library. It's like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th, 11th.
I
map.
see nothing.
Oh, you guys are looking at it already.
Right.
I had to
sorry.
change my screen.
There it is. Now I see things.
Yeah, so my initial thoughts, Charlotte, was to basically have each of us get one of these small rooms as an office,
Uh-huh.
and then convert this like big central area into like a meeting room for us, or like a large classroom that we could teach.
Not a
classes in.
library?
Well, I think it actually can be also useful as a library. Like
Well,
you have books.
bookcases, yeah.
You
be
could
anywhere.
like there is only potentially 5 of you. Like even if you give Endures in Darkness his own room, and there are 6 of these other rooms, so you could turn one of them into a conference center.
Yeah, but either way, like we could give Charlotte this one that doesn't have any windows.
Yeah, there you go.
Much
And-
chillier.
Endures in Darkness is a TA.
Yeah.
That other room belongs to Benji.
Fair enough. Endures in Darkness just goes and plants himself in a shady spot outside.
Yeah, Ophelia, Avi, claim.
Oh, there I am. Hello.
Ophelia, Avi, claim your rooms.
Well, in complete honesty, Matt, I think when Charlotte finally gets settled in, there'll be a like a little garden in the corner.
Well, you should talk to Eager. He was a bit of a gardener back in the old Spire dormitory.
Yeah, so it's gonna be like it's gonna have all of the plants in it, but there could be if Charlotte, because Charlotte does like Endures in Darkness, actually. Charlotte thinks Endures in Darkness is so fascinating, just because she studied actual like non-animate
Mushrooms? I mean, there are quite a few poisonous mushrooms.
Set up a nice like dark dirt area. Like you can sleep there if you'd like. I don't mind.
Oh my, the 3rd raid
Oh,
for the
thank you for
night.
the
Hello.
Hello,
Yeah,
Raid.
that makes 3.
Hello, Raid.
Speaking of both our resident toxicologist and gardens, fun fact, there's a garden in England entirely made up of toxic and poisonous plants, and the plants are all in cages.
Oh my gosh.
People
I've
still
seen it.
try to
It's
get you to
absolutely
touch them.
fascinating to
Yeah,
see.
it's really cool.
And people
So
still
cool.
try to
Anyway,
touch them
yeah.
and eat them.
That's
Yeah,
why they're in cages.
mhm. I think outside of just like a general setup in that room, the main thing Charlotte wants to do is try and get in contact with family.
The next time, by the way, Igor, the next time, while you guys are like in the library here, the next time you bump into Benji, he kind of stops and turns to you and
Yeah,
gives you a bit of a sniff.
Benji, the thing that you're hunting was near me.
Well, I'm not actively hunting anything.
I
Gosh,
okay. The thing that you made a deal.
I
with,
can't do PJ's
the
Benji
thing,
voice.
the thing that you made a deal with Mercedes about was near me.
Oh,
I'm on.
He
my
gets
way
a-
to talk.
He gets kind of a funny look in his eyes for a second there as you mention his obligation.
Yeah,
Then he's like, and then he smiles and goes back to his room.
yeah, I'm on my way to deal with that. That's next step.
Will you guys go down this route and uncover the secret boss?
Oh no. It's
Or one of-
Benji.
One of the 2 secret bosses.
Igora.
It's Igora!
There's the secret side boss, and then there's the golden ending boss,
No,
which will be a post campaign.
Alone, I couldn't take the party.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, but you're technically not alone. You're a summoner.
If I didn't have to deal with Ophelia, if I didn't have to have like, if it was Ophelia and one other person, I could deal with it. But Ophelia and 2 other people, I can't.
Well, that's if you possibly didn't have a bard of your own to counter Ophelia.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to go get Ophelia's stalker to help me kill my party. That'd be ridiculous.
But yeah, okay. So, Charlotte,
Like
you have moved.
stalker.
You have moved into the library. The others, I imagine, hold a little party to welcome you or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Come
We'll
by.
start the curriculum in like a week or 2.
Cesare, now fully into this sort of thing, caters it all. He's very professional about it and everything.
Ah,
He's got like a
Yeah.
formal robe he wears for the whole thing.
Shazari,
Very sleek.
Since you went legit, you got boring.
But he's not legit. He just needs further coin to fund his research now.
yeah, he
Um,
wouldn't be selling the most exploratory shit to the masses.
He's working on his thesis. He needs that stuff. But is there anything specific you wanted to do, Charlotte?
Yes, I wanted to try and focus the scry for probably her father, who would be the one taking care of Mervain, I think.
Yes. All right. So I'll say you find someone on campus who can assist you with a scry. This isn't a service they usually afford to just anyone, but special dispensation has been made for you in this case because you were away. This is an unfortunate family situation, and the Magambia feels kind of bad that they were not able to help your family in the intervening 6 years. So you get sort of a picture of your father. You get a glimpse of a sort of like a small family caravan. You recognize everyone in the party. They're all family members. Some you know better than others, but they all seem to be escorting like a large covered wagon. And by covered, I mean really covered. Like they're trying to keep this thing, so a cold breeze doesn't make, someone who's sick worse. They have wrapped it in all sorts of very well-made, Anadi kind of like covers and blankets and stuff. It's very nice to look at. It's very colorful because we all know Anadi textiles are the envy of the Milwaukee Expanse.
It is.
But yeah, they seem to be all right. They seem to
Ask
be
me where I got my scarf, man.
they seem to be moving with purpose.
She was running away, and now she's
but-
cuddling up.
Due to the fact that you are scrying on a specific person, you don't get a whole lot of details of where they are. They seem to be moving from what you see. Oh, look at this! Look at this! Look at this cat!
Baby.
Almost mooned us for a second there. They seem to be moving through some jungle. Maybe it's hard to tell, but everyone seems all right, apart from the fact that they're escorting a not well family member.
Okay, if they're still traveling with her, it's either they're taking her for last rites, or they're still searching for something to make her better. So
The expression on the few family members you were sort of able to get a clear look at, they don't look like somber and sad. They're not escorting someone for last rites or anything. They seem maybe a little stressed, but they seem determined. You see determination in many of their multi-eyes.
okay.
All
I
right.
need to find a way to fully communicate with them, but this is good for now. Hopefully I can get a letter out back to home to find out where they're going.
Yeah. All right. Continuing in reverse order from our original little segments. Ophelia, is there anything you want to accomplish before we dive into the next chapter? A small errand. And you are okay.
Does it specifically have to be like this day?
Doesn't have
that
to be
we're
this
doing
day. No,
this?
I'll give you about a week. Some point in
Okay. Well, yeah, definitely. So I mean, in probably day of, I would go and I would definitely tell Lumacy Yao that I missed her cooking when we were out.
Oh well, she had like food waiting for you guys when you got back.
Oh,
He probably thought you got no good food out in the jungle, so she was there to like, oh, your skin and bones. Oh, Ophelia, you look pale. Here, have some soup.
Soup. Oh,
Good hearty soup.
oh, I love your butternut squash soup. Oh, you're the best. I missed our
Raised
cooking
myself.
classes.
Yeah. These are fresh squash myself. We've got a new greenhouse on campus.
Oh, how lovely.
Yes.
Um,
Though I had to fight a bit for the seeds. Apparently, some new person in town or something has been grabbing up all sorts of seeds and stuff. I had to fight someone in like a white robe at the market for my seeds.
white and green.
Oh, how did you know?
Well, we've had a couple of run-ins with them. Let's just say,
Did you need some seeds too? Did they get in the way?
let's just say the Mogambia should stay away from those guys.
Oh, do they like cook with too much like pepper?
Yeah, way too much pepper. So spicy. Like the bad spicy.
I mean, I'm a big fan of spices. You know this. You know this.
Yeah, but the
there's an
proper
artistry to it.
spice,
There's
you
an
get
artist.
the
Yes.
flavor. Now the
Yes.
spice that just is just red for the sake of being red, it's not great.
No, you have to know what you're doing.
And you know what you're doing.
Well, I can't claim any special skill, but I've just been doing this for many a year, so I think I've managed to get some hard-won knowledge.
There's no one more knowledgeable about cooking and baking than you, okay?
Oh, stop it. Have some more soup.
Yeah, so I would definitely go and check in with her. And within the week, yeah, I would definitely go and talk to Mercedes and go to the Black Hat.
Do you just stride out of the library? Are you going to attempt to be stealthy about this or anything? Admittedly, leaving the library, you could be doing anything. It's not suspicious, but
I mean,
know.
like,
How
it's
guilty
not
are you
weird.
feeling?
It's not weird to go into town. I'm
No,
going
it
into
isn't.
town.
Yeah. I'm just curious if you know that what you're doing might upset a certain member of your party. Does any of that show on you, or are you just like,
No, because a member of our party is being absolutely silly.
he's just being a silly
And
boy?
it's me.
What a
I'm being a
goofy
silly,
guy.
goofy, silly, goofy
Yeah.
creature. You don't know what creature I'm talking about. We have plenty of creatures in our party.
Hi, bae.
You head into town to the Black Hat. It seems a little different than the last time you were there. The windows now have an interesting sort of almost like spider web lattice over them, but it is like cast iron. But you look at it and you kind of wonder how, like, obviously, people put like metal bars or metal stuff on their windows to protect against thieves and stuff. But this stuff, it's so thin, like it almost looks like kind of like real spider web, but it like dark and metal looking. You gotta wonder how secure this really is.
Have you been having problems that you had to bar your windows?
Oh, do you go into the shop?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. You enter in. The interior is once again lit by like green candles and stuff. And while the overall kind of feel and layout of the interior shop is the same, when you go in, you see like a half a dozen new items sitting on the shelves and everything.
Is there anything that I would want?
I don't know, what kind of things would you be looking for? There's such a variety of objects in here.
Well, I mean, it's not like I'm really looking for anything in particular. I like my gear and I like my outfits, pretty much. Anything that looks like pretty shiny, something.
Well, speaking of gear or things that are somewhat shiny, off in a corner now, arranged on a full kind of armor rack, is an entire suit of the Knights of Abednego armor.
Oh.
Just sitting on a rack.
Oh.
Not that suit. Not that suit.
suit.
No.
That's interesting.
Give me a perception check.
That's funny. That's
33.
suspicious.
As you
That's
turn
weird.
as you turn to look at it, you swear for a second the armor seems to tremble a little.
Oh, I don't like that. Maybe
You say-
I should come back another time.
I mean, you say that. There's like a crystal skull in a jar next to it on a shelf or something. There's weird stuff in here. This is a black magic shop.
Look, we destroyed an entire town of Knights of Abendigo. There's tons of fancy armor up for grabs. I mean, she wouldn't be a
Yeah.
good businesswoman if she didn't.
That's true. And you know what? There's a cult in town. I feel like we should be keeping her. Whatever.
And
That's...
also,
Defenses up.
you guys,
haven't
you were
even
let.
had our we haven't even had our talk yet.
You guys were let off near Jula by Mercedes. She
Mhm.
might not have left.
All these people.
Oh, is she even here?
Oh yeah, she's behind the counter. She is lounging
Okay.
about, in what appears to be like a silk kimono or something.
Of course she is.
Oh, of course.
She's just got like a cup of tea or something. Oh, darling, hello, welcome.
Well, hello. It's nice to see you.
Oh, it is wonderful to see you.
I
I'm assuming everything went wonderful in Jula.
did see what we did.
Yes, I am very grateful that you were able to fulfill your end of the deal. Your blood debt is now so much mist in the wind.
Hey, I would make several more blood debts if it means that I could save more children. That
Really?
As I start making
you're
the-
such a joker.
I mean, a lot of contracts come across my desk. I'm not always in a position to necessarily fulfill all of them right away.
You know. Speaking of contracts to be fulfilled, our friend Benji made a contract with you. What's that about?
Oh, well, I just happened to be passing by and I had heard talk around Ntambu of his skills and his dedication to his craft. And I've got some people, some unfortunate people have taken an interest in me, and I always like to have a few people in my corner when I can. So I took the opportunity to enter into a relationship with Benji. He's such a good boy.
Such a good boy.
When he knew that you guys were in trouble, and he wanted to help, and I was happy to help the helper.
Oh, he is such a sweetie pie.
He really is, and he's very good at what he does.
He is, yes. Are these people the reason that you have bars on your windows? Have you been having trouble with them?
Yes, I know it's a little gauche putting metal bars on the windows, but you know, one has to take security seriously. She kind of like inadvertently kind of gestures at the silk cord she has around her neck, you know, concealing the very thin line that shows where her head is separated from her neck.
Oh God. Yeah, of course. Well, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Oh wow. You
I
live
know
long enough, you go through some rough patches.
Yeah.
But you didn't come here to talk about my problem, my pedestrian issues. What can I do for you today, darling? Can I help you with something?
I mean, actually, speaking of rough patches, I've been getting these headaches that I don't quite understand. And
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Have you seen an apothecary?
no, because I've had headaches before, and these aren't like that. So I guess I wanted to try to figure out a little bit more about that. I have something here. Would you mind taking a look at it? I received a letter from my mother, and there's something weird about it.
Certainly.
So I hand her the letter to look at.
She takes the letter. Could you just hold it for a moment? I would love to help you, Ophelia. I consider you a close friend. And I like spending time with you. You are a charming individual, and you light up every room you walk into. We are straying a little bit into what I would refer to as kind of a consultant area here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm more than willing to assist you here with something. And I will also mention that I will only consider this a real consultation if I find something unusual here. But I should warn you, if I find something here, I can't offer any knowledge for free. It's just sort of my raison d'etre.
Well, I came here knowing that, so.
All right, well, just to be sure, a contract entered into unknowingly is not a proper contract. So she then takes the letter and opens it and reads it and like, I'm doing my best not to commit any of this to memory.
I mean, it's just sassy little tea, back home tea.
She kind of perks up to like, oh, Cynthia's getting married. That's delightful.
Do you know my mom, by the way? I've never asked that.
I don't know. Who is your mother?
Well, she worked at the Magambia.
Oh, well, it's possibly not then, because as you know, I've never actually been permitted onto the Magambia grounds. Someone there a while ago had a grudge, and no one's bothered to get that stricken from the books.
Does for Cynthia Silverdale, does that name ring any bells?
Oh, I've heard of her. I never had the pleasure.
Okay.
She was a bit of a to-do back in the day, I understand. Bit of a star on campus, which obviously you take after her in that.
I'm just following in her footsteps at this point.
Oh, well, now, I mean, people may walk on the same road, but they certainly blaze their own trail. Just because you use a map to find a destination doesn't mean you're not going to make more amazing discoveries.
I appreciate that.
Oh. No, it doesn't look like we'll be doing a consultation fee today. I don't see anything unusual or magical about this letter. Can you...
Not even on the bottom?
I mean, it's a bit of an odd name.
What name?
I mean, and she says something, and your ears just fill with kind of static, and you feel ill. Give me a fortitude save.
Oh my god! What is going on?
39? Actually, you know what? 39, that is very good. You got over the 35. You managed to not retch, and you hear a whisper of a name that it almost sounds like you are trying to keep out of your own ears. You hear the name Longing Dewdrop. And Mercedes sees your obvious discomfort despite your good fortitude save. And, are you all right, dear?
No. Yes. No?
Those are three answers, dear, none of which are exactly compatible. I'm sorry if I've caused you some sort of discomfort. Is this a name from your past or someone you know?
I don't know.
Well, that's a bit of an interesting little pickle.
But I can't read that. And I couldn't hear you say that. Kind of. And I don't understand it.
Curious, sir.
I don't. Maybe I need to go home.
Far be it from me to sound perhaps a little overeager, but if you would be interested, I could offer my particular services in attempting to uncover the mystery of this. I have a theory, but I don't want to say what it is yet, because to test the theory, I am going to need to send away for something.
Okay.
There's a doodad I am aware of that if I call in a favor, I may be able to get it here in some time. That might prove very helpful to you, but it'll take a little time to reach here. I have to track someone down who may not want to be found. But if you're willing to accept my help in this, we can perhaps make an agreement, an exchange, and I can help you with this. But obviously, I'm not going to ask you to take anything on faith here. And her lip almost kind of curls just saying that word. I'll wait until I can. I have no problem. There'll be no onus on you for me calling in the favor to get the item here. I was going to probably ask for it anytime soon anyway. Once it's here, we can speak again, and we can decide how we want to proceed from there.
Okay.
If you want, and I often give this option to some people, you can take the time to perhaps think what you might want to offer in exchange for my help. Depends how much this is worth to you, how much this is burdening your soul.
There's something missing. And I need to know what it is.
Well, I'm more than willing to help you.
So I will think of a price.
And then I shall await your decision. Would you care for some tea?
Yeah, I'd love some.
She kind of snaps her fingers, and her strange, gaunt, manservant comes out from the back. He specifically serves the tea. That way you don't directly receive anything from Mercedes herself. And you have a pleasant little tea. And she tells you, she specifically points to the armor set, the new armor set in the corner, and mentions that a fleeing knight of Abednego wished to get out of the town unseen.
Oh, well, yeah. Poor guy.
Yes, he didn't phrase his request particularly well.
No, he didn't. That's why I want time to think about mine.
Oh. I wasn't. I make a point of trying to make my deals fair.
I jest.
I'm pretty sure this guy was like a 3-time murderer, so I wasn't
I
wasn't feeling particularly helpful to him.
Even my group, we're not just murderers, we don't just kill people because, but these guys were really pretty.
Oh, believe me, darling. And she kind of like puts a hand on yours, and you feel like there's a bit of like a charge. There's something like, I can tell. Certain people, their souls have become a little darkened, and you kind of get a sense where they're leaning. I can kind of smell it on them. And you have a very complex bouquet, but you don't smell like he did.
He? Oh, the guy.
Yeah. The armor visibly quivers here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, as soon as she says, oh yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, those nights were very smelly. Very smelly.
Yes.
Well, thank you for the tea. I must get back to my students, actually. Yeah.
Say hello to Igor for me if you're brave.
Oh, I will. I definitely will. I don't know what stick he got up his butt about you, but...
Well, I mean, one day, who knows, he may come around.
Yeah, or we might just have to yank the stick out of his butt.
I mean, I think I have some magical tongs in here somewhere.
Tongs!
Consent.
Anyway, following our reverse order again,
Speaking of,
McKenna.
Yeah. It was Will's turn next.
Oh yeah, okay, Will.
speaking of Igora,
Mine will take a
Cut to Igor.
cut to Igora being like, okay, I need to get a meeting with everyone together. So if we want to end off with like the team meeting, I'm okay with that.
Well, let's see how long McKenna's thing takes. I have a feeling I might know what McKenna's going to do. Let's see.
Yeah, go ahead, McKenna.
McKenna, what do you want to do in the week
Yeah,
before
McKenna.
the next chapter properly starts?
I feel a pressure that I didn't feel 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, McKenna, what are you gonna do?
How much gold does it? How much gold
Do
is it
Abby,
going
Abby?
to cost me?
Ideally, none. I
Okay.
think that sort of stymied her sending escapade, especially because the little critter in question did say that there was not a good likelihood of reaching Kiara this way. That repeated communes would not necessarily help in that regard, though they might provide more information.
Yes, of reaching Kiara.
Yes, Kiara specifically. But you know who might have information regarding Kiara's past, who it doesn't cost 150 gold to ask 7 questions to, is Endures in Darkness. I'm seeing Gear's turn. But I will seek him out.
Endures in Darkness appears to be sitting in the shade somewhere, practicing his stitches, like for his medicine kind of work. His sutures, I
Also
suppose.
very neat. Very, very neat.
Oh, thank you. I'm always hoping to improve.
Do you have a moment? I would like to ask you a number of questions, but
Oh, I'm certain I have those papers graded you wanted.
Oh, thank you. This is actually about something else. Although, let me know if it's not something you're comfortable talking about, but I wanted to ask you more about your time in the Mushroom Wars, if that's something you are open to speaking on.
He kind of takes a deep breath. You're not sure if he actually has lungs to do that. It's a little unclear the physiology of a mushroom man. He might breathe through his head. Who knows? One day you can find out. If he drowns, who knows? He seems okay with the question. He doesn't, like his hand doesn't like twitch or something. He doesn't have obvious signs of post-traumatic stress or anything. It's not a time of my life I like to revisit a lot, but I understand there apparently have been some questions raised about the events surrounding it. I'm not sure how much of a wider perspective I'll be able to give you. I was grown, so to speak, sort of what near the tail end of the struggle. I can tell you what I saw, but I, more almost than anyone involved, kind of lacked context. But I can certainly tell you what I saw. You may be able to glean greater insights than mine. You are the lore speaker.
I appreciate that. Allow me to give you context for this conversation because I will put all my cards on the table first. I conducted a sending that took me into I could say a friend's memories, perhaps something that she might have been related to at one point. And there was a young druid woman. And Matt, this is out of character. I asked you for the spelling on this person's name. I wrote it down, and I just flipped through every page of my notebook, and I could not find it. The druid's name was Seraphine.
It's not really important.
It's not relevant. Okay.
Her specific name is not really important. She is long dead, so.
Yes. I ran into a young druid, very, very distressed. I think possibly over the nature of the conflict. Um, am I to understand that there was a druidic order in charge of, well, growing leshies like yourself and helping aid in the fight against whatever forces it was that you were fighting?
There was a group of very kind but sad druids. Well, now that I think about it, I think they were exclusively women. Um, Various different of the more warm-blooded ancestries, but from what I remember hearing in small parts, is that they originally were simply caretakers, that my people, the mushroom leshies, had almost been sort of accidentally growing around the base of this ziggurat, this temple, um, and the druids recognizing the nature spirits giving birth to these to us, sought to be caretakers and to encourage our growth and to shepherd us. Um, this, unfortunately, tragically, turned into a sort of a different purpose once creatures began emerging from the tunnels around the base of the ziggurat and attempting to assail the ziggurat and the whatever was inside. They were strange creatures. They seemed not to have consistent forms. They seemed to almost be made of hardened living ink of some kind. They seem to just collapse. Like if you've ever seen a water sack that has been filled to bursting and then abruptly punctured, the water just kind of falls to the ground in a pile. That is what happened when one of my comrades managed to strike a killing blow on one of these creatures. It seemed they would reach a sort of threshold and just lose their forms, their sharp edged forms, and just fall to the ground. But they seemed endless. It took generations of my kind to keep them from the temple.
Can you explain the significance of the ziggurat, the temple? Because I keep seeing it and seeing symbols of it, and I don't know what it means.
I know that the druids themselves were not the true acolytes of the temple. They were sort of a sub order. They were adjacent. They tended to the gardens. They knew that the site had some divine power, which is, I think, what maybe perhaps led to the spontaneous appearance of us leshies. They called it a miracle of sorts, but there was a separate order, more divinely focused, more like clerics, but I'm not sure if they were properly clerics. I maybe saw one of them in my entire time fighting the conflict. They were the ones inside the ziggurat, tending to their affairs, and the druids sought to both protect them and protect the groves where my people grew by unfortunately shepherding us into the battles. I believe that I heard one of them say once that it was a horrific irony that my kind, simply to ensure our own survival on some level, had to throw ourselves into the jaws of this conflict, and many of us did not survive, but they wanted to preserve at least some of us, and they knew that if we did nothing, these ink creatures would trample everything. I I'm sorry that I don't have a wider perspective. I was, as some of my comrades refer to it, much in the trenches.
Of course, and yeah, there's no need to apologize. Frankly, I appreciate, I mean, any information that you are willing to share with me from such a difficult period. Um, Do you happen to remember any of the names of any of the druids you may have known or worked with? Or if not, where I might be able to find them?
There's a significant pause after you say that. It says, in regards to their names, I'm afraid we simply called all of them Mother. And once the conflict was over, the one time they led all of the remaining Leshies. The groves, unfortunately, were sundered during the conflict, so no more Leshies would grow, and it seemed that whatever power was emanating from the temple had ceased, so there was no more new groves being created. The surviving druids led us through the temple, up and onto the surface, and gave us our freedom. The last I saw of the remaining druids, because a few of them fell in the conflict, they had all embraced each other and then were sitting in a circle with a peculiar flask of liquid in the center, and they were all pouring themselves glasses.
Oh.
They seemed very sad.
That bodes not very well. Oh.
They did wish us a long and happy life, and I am proud to say that I have gone on to save many lives in my time. I think they would be proud of me.
I think they would be very proud of you, Winters and Darkness. I know I am very proud of you, and can confirm that you have been my personal savior on more than one occasion, as well as the rest of the party. We are very grateful to you for being with us.
I am very grateful to hear that. And he kind of moves to the side. On a lighter note, I have been growing some strawberries with the assistance of our new friend Charlotte. Would you like to have some? They're very fresh.
I would love to. That sounds excellent.
And he hands you a little like woven basket, little bowl of strawberries.
Oh, thank you. Strawberries are very large for her. They're like there was this child's book that I had where it was a mouse who stole this big juicy strawberry. And that strawberry always looked so delicious.
I was thinking of like literally seeing like a giant like woo.
Yeah. It's probably a pretty cute image to come across. This little bat creature eating a oversized strawberry sitting next to a mushroom man, like possibly like squishing up the strawberry and then sort of like forcing it through like a membrane on him.
He's covering himself with it.
That is so cottagecore.
It's cute.
But if you're done with your questioning, McKenna, Will, why don't you set us up for what's going to happen next time?
I like that. That's fine.
What if we just ran a little late?
Yeah. What if we
I mean,
we'll let Matt decide after
Well, I'm perfectly fine with running late.
Because if this
the longer I wait, the cooler it will get, the easier I'll be able to sleep.
It depends, because y'all might need to think about what I'm about to say. So
might be a good cliffhanger.
It might be a good cliffhanger.
You think I think?
Igara's going to call you all into like the meeting room. Matt, I'm going to make sure that coin is like locked in my desk.
The coin?
Yeah, the sending stone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, the sending stone's locked in your desk.
Yeah, it's locked in my desk. I'm going to meet with everyone in the meeting room. Once everyone's in, I'm going to go and just stand by the door. I'm going to look at all of you. I'm just going to say, okay, we all need to talk.
Quick question, though, Will.
Yeah.
Who all do you summon of all the people who stay here and all the people who are in your party?
Just it's the party and Choco. Choco is here as well.
Does that include Endures in Darkness? Does that include Benji?
No, include Endures in Darkness. Benji, no. I'm not going to throw Benji in on this. All right. So we need to talk.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. What's up?
Okay. Number one, this is about Mercedes. Number 2,
Okay.
before we go any forward, you need to answer a question. 2 people you care about have their lives on the balance. If you
Oh, dear.
save one, the other dies. If you put one in slightly more danger than they possibly may be in currently, both can live. What do you do?
I'm not sure I understand the full context of the question, Igora.
I can't give you any more context without risking things.
Igor, where is this coming from?
Just answer the question. If the answer is you choose the single person to live and let the other die, please leave. If the answer is you choose to put the other into slightly more danger but possibly have a chance of saving both of them, please stay.
Well, where's the third option?
Those are the 2 options currently. This is a worst case scenario.
Obviously, you're gonna try to save everyone,
Yeah.
but this, I would like to know more about the situation because I feel like there's a lot of
Gray area.
variables here that could possibly maybe create a third option that Igor you might not have thought of.
Well, that is my option. That's what I'm trying to figure out to do.
I think I'm gonna need more information.
Is this a
Here-
hypothetical?
This is purely a hypothetical, and also going forward now, if anything that is said in this room by me gets to Mercedes, my life will probably end.
Okay.
Okay, go for it.
Right.
So I want you to know that.
Okay.
I am trusting you all with this. And if I have to go away, I will.
It just
There-
get colder in here.
There is the thing I don't like about Mercedes is that she is bound to deal in contracts, and that those contracts are often monkey paws.
I don't know that though.
Deals tend to be, I'm sorry, Avi, but it's very semantic, and that's how contractual spell work works. It's very literal.
Well, of course, everything comes at a price though.
But here's the thing. Let me continue, Avi. With the way Mercedes talks about it, it comes off like there is something in place that forces her to deal through these deals, and I think if she didn't have that thing in place, she would help people for the sake of helping people.
I agree.
Maybe.
So,
I want to find a way to get that stipulation to be something that she doesn't have to deal with anymore. I want to give her the option to be able to help people and do things for people for the sake of it, rather than there being a deal involved.
You think?
I think that she does not get anything from that in that scenario. Even if she was doing it just for the good of it.
I mean, she would be free of whatever is stopping her from using her power as she chooses.
Well, here's the thing. If we make that decision for her, no, she's not free. So she needs to be a part of this discussion.
All right then. Plan
Because
B it is.
it's
Goodbye.
because
Igor walks out.
Igora, you can't just do something that involves somebody's whole life that way.
I think you can. You can try to improve somebody's life for them. I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. I think it's perfectly reasonable to see someone who is obviously evil and try to make it so that evil cannot do as much damage as it could possibly do. I think it's reasonable to see someone who is sketchy, manipulative, and quite frankly, just all around a bad vibe, and want to contain that from affecting and hurting others.
Ikra, do you think that you don't get compensated for the good that you do for people?
You shouldn't.
Do you think that there's... No, I'm asking you, Ikra, if you believe that there is
Actively,
no price for your good deeds.
I do good when I can and when I'm around.
And you don't think you get anything out of that?
Well, actively, right? In the last few months, no.
That is a lie,
Oh?
Ikura. Every time you do a good deed, you get a chance to atone. You get to feel like a good
Okay,
person,
great.
and that means everything to you.
Great. All right, you going to be that semantic with me, Avi Avi? All right.
It's not semantic, it's just truth. And Mercedes understands that there is a truth to this universe, that everything is worth something and it has a price. She's just more honest about it, and you, I think, like to feel morally superior to her because you feel bad about your past.
You know what?
I agree with Igora.
Oh?
I don't think good deeds always come at prices and bad deeds, and I think if you do a good deed, that should just be because you want to do a good deed, not because you get something from it. And yes, Avi, you're right. There is something that comes with it, even if it is just the feeling of having done something good. But I also think that certain people will never burden others with their problems because they just can't. And Ophelia, you're right in that it is her life and it should be her decision, but we also know that Mercedes will be the first one to tell us no, because she would not want to place that price. Because she can't. And Igora, I don't believe that certain things such as that are just true evil. I think you're right in that there's always a chance to change.
That's what that's what I'm hoping for. Because cards on the table, right now, I have a way that could kill her. I could kill Mercedes, and she could no longer exist.
But she's the evil one in this scenario.
Can I please finish, Avi?
Igora, thank you for being honest with us.
And where I fall
Oh,
on that scale is entirely dependent on if my goal can be achieved with it.
Endures in Darkness, who has been pretty damn quiet this whole time, does kind of raise like a little mushroom hand.
Endures, go ahead.
I obviously have not had as much interaction with this this lady, this Mercedes, as you have, and certainly don't claim to have as much insight into people as some of you probably do. But I feel it would be remiss if I didn't mention something that has occurred to me just based on the nature of who she is. Because I think we've kind of sussed out that, contrary to what some people seem to have assumed, that she's not a tiefling. She is possibly even a being from another plane. And the thing about beings from other planes is that while they have sentience and their own drives and desires, many of them, their core is more based around concepts and an ideal. And it's possible that her driving force is something that is almost beyond her complete control. It is possible that while she may enjoy or not enjoy certain aspects of it, the deal making she does and the exchanges she does is something that is the core of her, that she is compelled to do. It is very possible if she had a choice in the matter, she would either help people with no payment made in return, or she would wheel and deal much more unfair deals and would actively try and manipulate things in her favor and try and amass more power and influence through the deals she makes. It seems, in a way, I've studied a little bit of religion information about those who are more of sort of the lawful persuasion from other planes. And while she does seem to sort of stick to that path, it's almost like she's sort of spinning in place. Do we know if she has, like, if she's suffered some injury or some event has happened to her? It almost seems like she is a mechanism that's running with no proper direction.
She's stuck.
Right now, for all intents and purposes, my understanding is that she's on death's door.
Permanently.
Permanently.
Could it be then that she is, one could almost say that in terms of a grander behavioral pattern or purpose, she is continually misfiring because she's stuck between what she would normally be and passing on then?
And that's why I'm trying to talk to everyone about this instead of me going at it alone.
So, is your solution here in Endures in Darkness, are you suggesting helping her pass on or helping her heal?
I am not suggesting anything in this regard. This is a wide and complicated world. Whether or not the situation she is in is sustainable, how she got there, the intent behind it, what would occur if she is either healed or returned to what she was, or if the process is complete. I don't know what would happen or if it should happen. I'm not even thinking about what I would want in this situation. I don't know Mercedes personally. I don't have any strong feelings either way. There is a whole story we don't know here.
Mm-hmm.
I would ask though, Ikra, you do seem now to be a bit more leaning towards an active solution to this situation, which seems a little different than before. Has something changed? You seem to have new information?
There's a group of people actively trying to end her. And
oh my,
quite frankly, that's not the outcome that I want to happen with her.
Well, that is a change at least.
Maybe.
Not really.
Maybe not the whole time. More just frustration. I see there is potential to help, and I think we should. What Endures in Darkness says is true, then Mercedes is standing on the tip of a knife blade, and either she falls off of it or she comes back from it. But either way, it might help push her from being stuck. Maybe I am worried if it goes the other way. But I also know that death is an inevitable thing, and to stay alive forever is quite lonely.
As the room kind of quiets after that kind of proclamation, there's a knock at the door. And a messenger from the administration is here. to talk to you guys. You are handed a note, and it seems that if you recall, the gentleman I believe who dispatched you on the last message, High Sun Mage Oyamba, wishes to speak with you. And what he wants to speak to you about, we will probably get into next week.
Next week.
I think as we begin to leave the room and like everyone, like Avi and Igor, like the last two out, Igor probably like stops for a second and just says, "And Avi, I was redeemed a long time ago. Everything I do now is to protect the people I care about." And Igor walks out.
So you admit.
The smug little bat flies away.
I will keep up with you and just sort of somberly says, I do think, Igra, that you should take a good look at what the root of your... I don't want to call it an obsession because that has a stigma to it, but you do seem very focused on Mercedes in a way and to a degree that I question the health of. I am worried about you, Igra. But whether or not you want to talk about it is, as always, up to you. And she will let you scooch off.
And just head to work.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. All right, y'all. So after that intense last little 5 minutes, join us next week when we begin Book 4 proper.
The Secrets of the Temple City.
Are we getting sent away again?
Are we getting Osaibu lore?
I'm not gonna tell you nothing.
Yes, we are.
Ah!
Thank you all so much for coming to tonight's episode of The Strength of Thousands AP. Don't forget to check out our many other shows here on the channel, like Wild Ambition on Wednesday. Then on Friday, Astral Calling. Saturday, Salt and Sorcery and Strategy. Sunday, Stardew Sunday. And of course, next Monday, the next episode of The Strength of Thousands AP. Thank you all so much for coming, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.